Yes, people. I am mad. It's myself, 100 Eyes, and we are live on Powers Talk. Joining me today, we are the big Triller, Red Pill Trio.
Come on, big up.
Yo, mad. And we got the powerful Empress here.
Hi.
CEO Imanilee.
Hi, guys.
How you lot doing?
Yeah. I'm good.
You good, yeah?
Yeah.
Yo,
Yes.
we got Red Pill here. Red Pill runs a channel called Illuminati Live. Hey, I advise
I'm
him.
only Red Pill Trio when I rap. It's only the rap name. Yeah,
Okay.
it's always Jedi.
It's Jeds.
Yeah, regardless. Yeah.
Alright, Jeds.
And when it's Red Pill Trio, it's one word, not separated.
I did that still.
Alright, cool.
Yeah,
Illuminati live stream, YouTube. Check me out, Illuminati Live.
busy
And,
man.
Yeah, we do our thing, man. It's cool.
Yeah, man. Big up. I like what you do on True Illuminati Live. You bring a lot of people to
Say it again?
I like what you do on True Illuminati Live. Okay, it's one of these days. Yeah, okay.
You started it off camera.
Okay, I see. Imanilee,
Hi, guys.
how's life been treating you since I met you at that protest?
Do you know what? Life's been good. I can't really complain. Obviously, just making sure that I'm doing the right thing and supporting people in our community. Obviously, I'm a key worker in South London, so I do a lot of work with a lot of young people whose lives can be impacted by the incident that we went to today. So I can't complain. I'm alive, I'm blessed, and I'm doing the work that we're here to do.
Okay, big up, man.
That's good stuff.
That's definitely big up. I just want to thank you both for coming down today, joining me on this Powers Talk. If you don't know the game is this. There's topics in the bucket. You put your hand in the bucket and you pick a topic out, and I'll ask you questions relating to that topic. I want your thoughts and opinions, yeah? So,
Let's go.
the show's called Powers Talk. If your mouth don't empower, keep it.
Come on.
You done know.
So does your... Nah, let me know.
Oh, no.
Say it.
Go on. Go on. Ladies.
Of course.
Okay.
It's not that deep.
Police brutality.
Police brutality. Would you mind holding it to the camera and showing the camera what that is? Police brutality. Woo! We got there already. That's how we're starting off, yeah?
Heavy.
Imanilee, you picked it, huh?
You set me up.
What is your definition of police brutality?
A institution taking advantage and brutalizing a community of people. I don't feel like police brutality happens to on a day-to-day basis a widespread of people. I feel like it's very much targeted to a community of people, so that's why I would put that word in my definition for it.
Jets?
Police brutality is when your own security officers turn on you.
Deep.
Where's the powers tag?
Yeah.
That's good, dude. That's I heard that the way you worded that. That's different still. Big up yourself, bro. Do you feel comfortable complying with feds?
I try to break as many laws as I can all the time. I try, but that's just me. I'm not advising that for anyone else, but actually I am.
Put the BAD in the bad boy, yeah?
No, I'm just saying I've developed my own moral guidance system. So for me, the police are inept and they overstep, and they're just the physical arm of a oppressive system. Do you know what I mean? And if it weren't for the police, who would be complying to the oppressive laws and whatnot? Do you know what I mean? And we all know about police and them enforcing like maritime law. You know what I mean? And going against their oath to
that clashes with the common, innit, a bit?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, essentially, they're just tax collectors. They're there to generate revenue. Anything, all their interactions with us generate revenue.
You're right.
You get me?
Even for down these to the phone call of 999.
Everything.
Stop and
so it's all a big money making thing. Obviously, social engineering and making money on top of it. Yeah. If you really look at what the police are about, you know what I mean? But yeah, depends on how deep they're getting. But in sense of the violence,
Do you think it's an issue in the UK, police brutality?
Of course it is. It's an issue anyway. Of course it is. Yeah.
Would you say it's as bad as America?
I would say one man's floor is another man's ceiling. So, you know, we shouldn't really
judge it.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? But no, I'm not even going to do that, because should the same circumstances in America be over here, then it'd be the same. I.e., you know what I mean, the guns, the size, and whatnot, and then obviously. UK has the same history when it comes to the abuse of civil rights and stuff like that. Let's not pretend.
If anything, more hidden though.
Right.
Daggered.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it has to be coat and dagger, because I think we forget that England is the home of
the
it.
boss.
It's the motherland.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it still is.
And always will be until that society and that colonization is destroyed. England is the motherhood of that whole growth of colonization, control, government orders. It all started and begins here. So the way that things are being done, the way that our people are being dealt with here, has to be dealt with in a relaxed, presentable way to the public, like i.e. the way that they dealt with Meghan when she was in the royal family. Everything had to look clean, sound clean, come across nice. Like, it doesn't have to be like America. The foundations and institutions and laws that were built to make America was violent, was aggressive, was in the stance of Caucasian men in their masculinity, taking things the way that they saw fit. So the way that they're going to run their country and how they can they literally got away with coming and pillaging and killing the native people of the land. You can't expect their laws to be the same as here. It's been built up in two different ways. So the way that we deal with and the way that we see and the way we deal with police brutality over here, it's going to look completely different to America, even down to just the fact of our laws on guns. It's simple things like that. It's nowhere near it's going to look the same. Things are always going to look cleaner to the eye when it comes to Britain.
On street level, it's still a big problem. Do you know what I mean? And that's not just for one demographic either. We can focus on, you know, young black men or young black women, but all around the country they'll tell you that their interaction with the police is not one. Like, this is what I always liken it to. Let me just say this real quick here. I like to get this one out there. This analogy, yeah. In every circumstance, when there is an abusive relationship, yeah, physically abusive, mentally abusive, psychologically, whatever, yeah,
you have to get out.
Yeah, you say get out, and nobody in their right mind says to the victim, just stay or try and work it out, or let's liaise and wear rest, especially when violence has taken place, death or whatever. How come when it comes to the police, we are expected to time and time again re-enter this abusive relationship with the same perpetrators?
Why do you think that is, though? Why do you think that is?
Bro, that's a whole different thing. Like, we're working under this paradigm of this society, and that's a whole different thing. But yeah, essentially we consent.
I think there's different levels of humanity in our society as well. There's different orders of classes of people. So the class that we're in, we're practically slaves to what they want us to do in the society, how they want it to be run, how the economical system is supposed to be run, and how it generates to benefit the people above us. So the level of humanity that they've set for us here, the normal people who are dealing with society, is different for their level of humanity.
Do you think the police brutality is directly targeted at us specifically, or do you think targeted at a demographic of people? I'm not saying just us, I'm talking about maybe poorer, lower class people.
Personally, I think that
we are the majority of the poor, lower class, so we will receive the most police brutality.
Well, they called us the minority, and I feel like that's a mental trick. We're actually not the minority
in this country.
In general,
in this country,
what I'm saying is, black people, we're not the minority
in the world.
Anywhere, we're not the minority. So my perspective on it is, a lot of things is just to mentally keep us in a certain place. They're dealing with us in a certain way because they have a particular agenda to traumatize our people, to keep us in a certain state of mind, to live a certain type of way, to continue in poverty and continue in trap.
Why do they want to continue that path? Why? What do you think it is? Why? What's the reason?
If you think about the only time in history that black people were not being oppressed, what did our history look like?
It was vibrant.
We were in power. They were not. Our health was impeccable. Our results across artistry, music, I wouldn't even... You can say conquering, but I wouldn't say in the westernized term, which it may be perceived to be. And every level we exceeded, to even down to building things are like the pyramids that they can't even fathom till this very day, and they don't even want us to know, to the fact that they're shooting our noses off of our statues, trying to defame us so we don't realize who we are. So this is why we are being traumatized and abused and kept in traps of poverty. I've like done courses myself on little things like ADHD and all these things of poverty. They cause all of these mental defects. So I feel like that personal attack on our community, we have to be kept in that sunken low vibrational space, because the moment that we start to have that level of mental clarity, peace and freedom, we start to thrive. People thrive where they're happy. So if black people start to thrive again, what happens? That system that's put in place, that certain class of people are benefiting from, that begins to crumble. They can't allow that.
It's like a guilty conscience, isn't it? You can't let them man thrive because they feel like we will come back and give some payback.
I don't think that's the case.
It's not even about payback. They just...
I've heard many people say that. I personally don't believe that as well. I don't feel it in my heart that if I ever done something.
I don't know. Personally, I agree with everything that the sister is saying. I also feel like that's one paradigm that we can accept. There's another paradigm, which is, if you go into another community, they're all being oppressed for their own set of reasons. I don't think it's necessarily personal. It's designed to feel and be personal, because that's how our brains are. We're telling ourselves what's reality, right? So
that's why
this is a real reality, right? What she's saying, you get the racism because you're black, or you get this and that, and they don't want to see you do good, rare. But it's a case of they don't want to see anyone doing better than them. And so
Can I ask you something? Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, no, you could.
What I want to know is, on the point, I wanted to expand on the point that you brought into different communities having their own sets of oppression and their own things that obviously the higher class are doing to them. What I want to know is, we know what's been happening in these countries, or our country in particular, with black people. But what I want to know is the statistics that we know of black people that are being murdered, brutalized and abused by the people that we are literally paying to protect us and provide peace for us. Do you think that,
is that not an illusion though? Do we feel that we're paying them to protect us? Cause
it's a fact.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. That's what they're doing.
We are literally
they're civil
paying
servants.
them.
It's a fact.
Yeah, literally. So what I want to understand is, this is an honest question, if this was happening to another race, like i.e., let's say it was happening to the Asian community, for example, it was happening to Indian people in particular, do you honestly feel like in a world board government meeting, India would not be having a serious conversation with the UK government? It would never happen.
150%.
The point is, we do not have a home. When these things are happening to us all over the world, Africa doesn't step in when they're having UK board meetings, government world board meetings, and say, why are our people? Because you're not going to
get the Nigerian army flying in.
Land. But this is what I'm saying. If it was happening to any other race of people, if it was happening to Chinese people in the UK, they will be murdered and abused on mass rates, and these outcries are going in. I promise you,
and
the leaders of their country will be getting involved. It doesn't happen as well.
Obviously,
I don't think we can say completely that. Yes, other races and other cultures are going through their own levels of oppression, but it's different for us.
It is different, but like someone's got to be at the bottom, and if we are, right? And understanding that you're at the bottom doesn't negate the fact that, like I said earlier, one man's floor is another man's ceiling, right? Because these people are also oppressed, not only physically but mentally as well. Right, and they're blind to the history, they're blind to Wagwan, so they may even be servants, right? Like you mentioned the Asian community, like, and certain elements of the Asian community are like seen as the best of servants. Yeah, this is like a subtitle for them, right? And they work with the system and oppress their own people, murder millions of their own people. Yeah, some people are thriving. Do you know what I mean? But when we talk holistically, then we forget the individuals, and then we just get caught up in statistics and stuff like that. But I hear what you're saying. On the whole, Asia is a thriving community and thriving.
Like even like when they come here, like the rates they're able to get mortgages, the rates they're able to set up shops and businesses,
because
like, on a whole
of the pecking order, right? Because where they sit in the pecking order, they're a buffer. They're a buffer, innit? Because they're safer than us. They're more approachable. Do you know what I mean? They're a buffer,
and they're more submissive.
And even within their own culture, they got racism as well. So you'll find, if you go to Asia, you'll find that the black man who is maybe even the most original or authentic person on that land is at the bottom of the class. The Siddhi tribe in southern India, anywhere you go, the black man's always going to be at the bottom of it. So I'm not denying that fact. But I'm saying,
did that tribe get pushed down to the bottom of India?
No, I wouldn't say so. I feel like they tried to say that these guys got there possibly via slave traders, Arab slave traders or whatever, dropping them off and then being forgotten. Nah.
You don't believe that?
No. We know factually who was on who was where. We were everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Have you ever suffered police brutality yourself?
Yeah, a number of times.
Care to tell one incident?
11 years old.
11.
Going to the shop for my mum.
Well, you look like 20 though.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? But there's a real, like a real mental syndrome of seeing black children as being older, or hypersexualizing them. It's an actual. I can't remember what the phrase is.
I was joking.
I know, but all jokes aside, these are the type of things that a policeman will say to you. Oh, you do understand? You are a big fella. And look,
if we think that ourselves, imagine what they think.
You are a big fella. You are rare. But yeah, anyway, I was 11 years old, on the way to the shops. Feds jumped out of nowhere, undercover feds, had me up, talking about someone's been breaking into cars, whatever. Ended up slamming me on the floor, badding me up, handcuffing me. Do you know what I mean? And all of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's just one.
Did they take you into the station? Or
I got taken into the station.
At 11.
I mean, yeah.
So going to
got my head bust by feds. Been, you know how what feds do. So I'm aware of police brutality. I'm, an old friend of mine, murdered by the police, shot dead. Do you know what I mean? So I know what they do. I'm not blind to it, and I'm never gonna. I'm FTP. I'm fuck the police. That's me. I'm sorry. I don't know how you feel, but yeah,
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
But let me ask a question. Now, as a big man, and if you had a child that went through that, what would be your advice towards your child, and what would be your procedure from there?
What's the procedure, man? Like, suck it up. Yeah, this is the world. This is
no complaints. You don't go through the complaints.
Complaints to who? To them? To their higher ups that have left the police force and then joined the IPCC and that. Well, who am I complaining for? What? The only thing I'd be doing is just trying to get some peace. I'm going to try and find you. I don't care if you get sacked, if you keep your job, if you don't keep your job. There's no justice in this system for me. The only thing is recompense. So you can award my child or whoever some compensation to for whatever damages caused in time taken or distress caused and all that. But there's no justice. You know what I mean? There's no. I'm not one for paperwork is going to get freedom or liberation. Like, it's a whole different thing. If you want to talk about that side of things, that's why I keep saying they're separate. Within the system, if my son gets mashed up by police, I'm going to pray and hope that he's all right. But that's the most that we can do. I'm not going to I'm not going to do campaigns. I'm not going to do press release. I'm not going to do anything, because nothing is going to come from that except for that pantomime. Unless we're going to mash up the police station or mash up the officer that mashed up, you get me? And we're saying, anytime you got touched.
But that's what we need to be on, because they're not going to hear us until. It may sound like raw to other people, but you have to hear where he's coming from, because we are marching, we are talking, we are petitioning, we are campaigning, and it ain't changing nothing. So why was someone who has.
So what did Asians do then?
What do you mean?
They were getting oppressed when they came here. How
badly though?
Huh?
How badly? They just assimilated. To just be real, they just assimilated. Yeah, and it's not even. That's it. Get down, lay down.
Yeah, man, lay down.
No offense to the Asian community, but we know that they mainly, largely just assimilated, and they have a different set of issues and situations around them. We are a different set of beings. We come with our own pros and cons, our own attributes, and our own destiny.
Completely different history as well.
So we got to look. That's what I say. We got to stop comparing ourselves to other people.
Alright, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I hear you. Mama Lee, you suffered any police brutality?
I actually haven't.
No? But your people around you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it with people around me, but I feel like obviously the experience for black women will probably be a little bit more different compared to our men.
Depends.
It depends. Obviously, there are some women who probably have gone through it, but I feel like
Sandra Bland.
That's over there.
There you go.
Okay.
That's over
Again, it goes back down to what we were saying earlier about the difference of how things can be done here and over there. Not to say that things are not happening in the UK, but how we get that information and that knowledge and how they do certain things, I feel like it's completely different. They literally brutalized, murdered that woman. After they killed her, laid her against the floor, sellotaped her eyes open to take a mugshot of her dead.
That's bad.
They would have to be insane
That's really
to
bad.
try that shit over here and think they can. Only in America can you get away with that.
Yeah, but they'll stab you in the kitchen and say you tried to kill yourself.
They can frame you.
Smiley culture.
Yeah.
So
that more sounds like English culture.
Yeah, smiley culture.
They'll do these kind of things. They can do that thing. But I'm just, not to be controversial, but I feel like that thing was a bit of a psyop. And it's like in America, I feel like...
What's in the
Sandra Bland thing, yeah.
Okay.
And in America, I feel like...
But that was the kickoff of Black Lives Matter, right?
Like I said, I'm observing, but I'm not absorbing, so I'm not gonna get sucked in emotionally to what they want me to. The selective outrage is what we need to guard. They will feed on that energy. Yeah, they're feeding on our energy. So at that point in time, I was watching it cold-hearted. Yeah, just watching everything was going on. I see that she's part of a certain sorority. I see that lots of these people that are in these highlighted cases are in sororities or fraternities. You know what I mean? And they're involved in certain things. So for me, I kind of just push that to the side because it's just another thing that they want you to get hyped over. Like what the sister's saying. If it ain't about action or even an action plan, it's long. Being reactive is dangerous. Yeah, and if you find yourself in a situation where you're waiting for the next thing to pop off and they say, nah, what are we gonna do? Then you can find that you can be easily manipulated. Yeah, right. True. So I just say beware of them things there. But I'm not downplaying police brutality. But look, we're just gonna chat. Ain't no one's riding out. There's no ride outs. There's nothing happening, and I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying this is the truth, innit? Yeah, you can't make somebody fear you. And fear consequences if you ain't giving them a reason to. If you ain't giving them a reason to respect your gangster, then it's just chat. And it's all a setup anyway. It's all a setup. All of these things are set up. Really and truly, the more I the more I retire and move away from sometimes even commenting on certain things until they passed. No disrespect to people, but I've got eyes in it, and real eyes realize real lies. You get me?
What about? Do you have any community polices around where you live? Anyway?
Community support police.
Yeah, like that are let me say melanated, black.
Forever family.
No, I ain't seen them for long. No, he means actual ones that are attached to the police. Yeah. You know what, I ain't seen community support police and that for a while, but there used to be loads of them. There used to be, I remember one time there was like 8 of them. 8 of them walking together. What? And I stopped them, I had a conversation with them.
All 8 of them?
Yeah. And my conversation was this. Where are you lot from? And they're all from all different parts of London. And I said, so how come you lot are not in your community, policing your community? How come you come all the way over here? Okay. Yeah. They didn't know, so I broke it down to them what it was.
So you told them?
Yeah, I told them. So then you can't be accountable by your community for the things you do. You claim to be community support officers. You should support your community. If we're gonna do this community support officers, then make sure it's Uncle Denton, Uncle Patel, Auntie Sandra, and all of them that's in their uniform. They live here, there, and there. So you know they're not going to be on no fuckery, because after they do a fuckery to your youth, they got to go to the corner shop that you go to and get milk. This is accountability. This is the first steps of accountability. But we can't work with Babylon. We can't work with the feds. We can't work with Metropolitan Police.
It doesn't matter what colour or creed they are, innit? Like, have you ever seen anyone receive police brutality from a melanated person?
I'm sure it happens. Yeah, I'm sure it happens.
Not in this country.
I'm sure it happens. I'm sure melanated police, yes, definitely get gritty. And can we just clarify something as well? There's no such thing as a good police officer.
Expand.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. You ever seen a video of a good police officer stopping a bad police officer
you're doing wrong there, you know,
from breaking the law or abusing his rights?
Nah.
Abusing someone's rights. Have you ever seen them?
I haven't.
Oh, well then, boom. So where's the good police officers when the bad police officers are doing bad stuff?
And you know what? It actually made me think, because I've actually had family members who've worked for the Metropolitan Police, and like expanded on what you were just saying, the whole ideology of having good police officers and bad police officers. I actually, at one point, one of my family members was encouraging me to actually sign up and work for the Metropolitan Police when I was younger, when I was like starting my journey of like career. And you're saying, yeah, the benefits of it, you like in terms of like your pay, your pension, like all of the good factors as to why it's beneficial to join the police. And then I actually sat down and I actually thought, I can't, like, and then I said, oh, but then, you know, you get people who in the police are good and who are bad, like not everybody's like that. But then I said, I would be joining an institution, whereas you say like what you were saying, they're good and bad, but what are the good police officers doing about the bad police officers? The level of,
you know, the police got code of silence. You know, they say that the stop snitching thing that the black community, apparently, like no one else doesn't know that it wasn't about being a grass in any community. We learned that from other communities, but cool, the black community got a no snitching policy, wall of silence they call it, and that. But what happens when you're a police officer and you want to tell on your police officer mates? Yeah, you looked at like scum, ostracised, you get bullied. It's not the culture that, oh yeah, just come into the office and tell us what PC Tom done. So it's a whole contradiction with the police. Like I said, you can't work with the police, but we should have things in place if we care about
our own police.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say police.
You say yes.
We don't. Like, we don't have to call it police, but we should have an organisation to
our
support
own private security.
And
right.
Yeah, that bit works.
It's deeper than security though, because from police, from reasons for things to happen in our community that would lead us to call our own police, we would then need a result. We would need some action depending on what the person done. So from that, what happens in our normal government court? We need our own courts. We need our own juries. We need our own barristers. We need our own solicitors.
So we need our own system.
Yes, it's deep.
But that can't work.
Not within. I'm saying for baby steps. Yeah, baby steps. Because really, the whole thing is ban Babylon, ban the system, already. Turn it all over. That's my thing, 100%. But like I always say, within the system, at least let's get people from our community involved in patrolling our community, responding to minor issues, domestic issues, whatever, and just trying to be like elders or community workers from the community that are actually there to help, not to enforce law, but to help and solve disputes and things. Let's start like that, right?
Okay, should those people be elected by the community?
How else is it going to be done?
That's what I'm trying to say, because you might put the name down on the sheet.
That's where I was saying what I was saying. So if we start off with that and then we have our problems, let's say for example we've got an issue in the community where we've got a young man in our community who's going around and raping our women. So yeah, a huge issue that we will be facing. So with that issue, or it could be a man or a woman raping our people, or pedophilia, abusing our kids, serious topics like that. So what do we do? And that's why I said that. That's what we said. That's why I was saying in the sense that we need our own courts, because that's where we need to. We don't need to, like, in a way it will be like mimicking in a way the system that we already have. I don't think it would be anything like what they have. But we need like action. We can't just say because we don't have police anymore, we're not going to do anything, because there will still be real life people in our community doing extremely bad things. So what do we do with them? Because it's past talking. So what do we do with a rapist?
Well, you know what? Like,
Or a
let's
pedophile.
look, we're online.
A rapist
Hold on.
a rapist is born in this society.
One second. No,
You
don't
gotta
do
say,
that.
not in
Don't
the-
do that.
Huh?
Don't do that.
Don't do
People
what?
could rape anyway. I'm saying, yeah, what we do with the sick people is, all right.
You didn't
What
finish.
happens? What happens when a horse breaks its leg?
What happens? It's to stay in the stable, isn't it? And
No,
lay down.
it's taken out.
What happens when?
It gets killed off.
What happens when a dog bites a baby?
Yeah.
They kill it.
Put down.
All right, let's move on because we don't want to say certain things, but like that's why I feel.
We don't
like,
mind saying it though.
Nah, but like, come on, there's no need to say it.
Oh.
And what's understood doesn't need to be spoken sometimes.
But it needs to be said.
So you
doesn't.
have
We
no level of understanding or remorse for them type of actions.
No, rape. No,
Just put them
rape,
down straight away.
Pedophilia.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I've got more understanding for murder than I
Okay.
do with those particular actions there. If you're guilty and that's what you did, I don't know.
So for you, they're your top two.
I don't know about being reformed. I don't know about you used to be.
Yeah.
I don't know about someone
It's
that
a
used to
huge
be a
risk
rapist. It's not. Is it worth it for our community? No. So either you're getting sent quay where you can't make it back to over here, or
They wipe your.
They did that in
or-
ancient Egypt.
They did what?
They loaded
exile
them
on
all
that.
up.
And did what?
People with deformities, people with mental health problems, rapists, murderers, they loaded them all off.
And do what they do?
Brought them to the Caucasus Mountains.
Continue. And what happened there?
They left them there.
So where are those people that they left there now? Where are they?
They're about.
Let's get to the.
They're about.
Where are these people?
Why are you starting?
Where we going? Where we going? You know,
I'm just asking questions,
I run
guys.
out
We're
of tea to
gonna
set
sip that tea.
everything. Fucking hell.
Do you feel stress contributes to police brutality, or do you think it's in
The stress of who?
wherever the job consists of?
Don't give a shit
Oh,
about
there-
the stress.
there-
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Brother.
That's irrelevant. You're getting
Yeah,
paid
that's
for this.
what I'm
So
not
my
really
thing is,
caring
if the
about.
job
I'm
is
not
too
dealing
much
with that.
or too stressful, get a pay rise or
I'm
leave.
not gonna go into
Because-
the psychology of a.
Yeah,
of a
I'm not saying it may not be a
Fed.
factor, but we don't care and it doesn't excuse it.
We're not doing that.
Like, for example, my job is stressful. I also have things that I'm doing outside of my job. So should I come in and take it out on people or young people that I'm working with? Does it give me an excuse?
You're
There's
right.
still
you're right. I was
consequences
asking
for
the
every
question.
action.
Okay, do you think something like Black Lives Matter has highlighted police brutality more than it ever was?
Yeah, but people need to look into Black Lives Matter a lot more clearly than just screaming out the words.
I have to say that all of these scenarios, we say institutional racism, police brutality, immigrant, whatever it is, these are buzzwords. And
You're right. But when I was asking for solution, I heard none.
the solution. Because
From us.
the solution isn't like you're not going to vote your way out of this. You're not going to make some new policy out of this. The solution is a complete overhaul of all the little creature comforts that you love. The solution is what some people call anarchy, which they're afraid of. Which you have to go into the dictionary definition of anarchy before you hold fear. No, not. I mean, I can see it in my head, but I don't want to stumble. I can see it, but basically, it's sovereigns that. That refuse to be governed by institutions. That doesn't mean that me, you, and Imani can't sit down and say, you know what, Imani, you're the smartest one. You know, like when it's time to chat, you do the talking. You know what, you can bench press the most. So on the security thing, do you know what I mean? And Jed's like, you know what I mean? So we
like
will
that.
select that
Yeah.
ourselves, but it's
Yeah.
about autonomy and sovereignty. We're not ready for that convo, bro. Invite us back. That's a whole nother.
How do
That's
we
the
start to
thing.
build? Because we have to.
You gotta
I've seen
destroy
so
first.
many people.
Right, yeah,
agreed. I've seen so many people in our community. Like even when we done that video, the amount of people that I've seen in the comments literally saying, this is pointless, it's not going to happen for now, we're not going to come together. And it's such a lazy mindset. I'm not saying that it's something that's just going to be turned around and just done overnight, or something that's even going to be hard, or something that majority of us are even going to do. I'm not disagreeing with the point, but why is that the first point of call? It's the lazy mindset that we are so trained and used to not having a solution or putting through our solutions that we are comfortable with allowing nothing to happen. And do you know what? I'm not comfortable, because as a mother, I will one day be a grandmother and a great grandmother, and we need to start looking at our children as our wealth, our legacy,
with experience,
our future.
With experience,
we need to lay the blueprint today.
With experience comes a kind of I wouldn't say a wisdom, but an understanding. Yeah, and this is where some people may appear like they're not as eager, or they're lazy, or they're not as involved in looking for a solution. But when you take time to actually think about what the solution is, and you have all these debates, and you go out and you try this and you try that, and you're into all of that, at a certain point in time, I think you come up with a conclusion that there's only one way. This is why it is very simple what I'm saying. It's only one way. There's not going to be any fancy, or let's create this this body of people that we're going to lobby and we're going to do that, or none of that is going to happen. None of that is going to happen. That's all a fantasy.
So if there's one way, we need to move towards it.
And what's that? Putting everyone into factions and letting them do their job as one unit.
What the way to solve our issues?
Yeah,
it has to be dismantled.
It has to be dismantled. Yeah.
Within the process
the whole
of that, we can.
yeah?
Everything
to
the government, policing, to the 13 families, everything.
I just wake up and I always say this. I just wake up and just, like it helped me understand the deeply religious people, yeah, because I understand how many years ago they came to this conclusion. Some people came to the conclusion that we're either going to need a supernatural event, we're going to need some kind of we're going to need something beyond our understanding or recognition or anticipation to come and flip shit on the... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need the cat to come and run and knock over the pieces on the chessboard, right?
Okay, I get you.
You understand what I'm saying? Because the mechanism is so sophisticated, and the people themselves love the system so much, that everything that we're attached to are the things that we don't want to give up. Even these notions of how society works.
You can't bring them where we're going.
But I'm saying, even the idea of like,
housing.
Okay, so we're going to have it in this kind of way, and this kind of system, we're already thinking about rebuilding what's already there. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that's a symptom. That's our Stockholm syndrome. But we love the system. We all love attributes of this system.
Yeah.
And they work for us in certain ways, right?
Oh, at times.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to have the honesty to forfeit all of that, all our creature comforts, all predictability, all whatever, is a very, very, very scary place. And I don't think majority of people are ready. But what I would say is, if that choice is taken out of our hands, human beings have ability to adapt.
Yeah.
So they may not take the choice, but if the choice is taken out of their hands,
on you, they're gonna
right.
do.
But that's where
that's also
building is important now, because whenever that dismantling takes place, preparation is better to happen now.
You said it's fantasy, but it's fantasy to those that fear it. I could relate to that, bro. Dismantling the thing is definitely... And
it's also fantasy to people who want it, because I believe we want it, but we can't do it alone. So it's always going to be a fantasy to us, because we don't have the bodies, the power, the strategies to get it done. So it's like...
So when you come to that conclusion, you've done the maths and you've seen it, when certain conversations are happening, you may appear like you don't give a fuck, or you're this guy.
But it's just like...
But it's like, bro, we're going to have 50 meetings.
But you lot are not getting up tomorrow at 5 o'clock to have this convo to go... You lot are not doing what certain people are prepared to do. So for the people who actually have the heart to get it done, it's like a dying warrior fantasy that's just living in you.
You're a bad girl, you know. She knows, you know. She's bad, you know. There's like, I don't even have to chat much. I'm just calling. She knows. She's dope.
So the conclusion is, do you feel that we can do it here then? Dismantle
here? What's here?
In UK.
You have to do it here. It's the motherland. When it's you see all the movies when they're killing the big monsters and the dragons and all it. Where do they go for the heart? They go for the heart.
When I was talking, it was never. It's an international thing. It was never. There's nowhere excluded because at this moment in time, there's nowhere to run.
The pressure's all around.
If you want to go and run away from the system, and there's no way. You see that off the grid. There's no off the grid. The off the grid is the pieces of land of Earth that we know about. You know what I mean? That we don't know about. That's off the grid. But everywhere else that's been mapped and there's no off the grid.
And they are watching every single piece. The pieces of Earth that they don't even want us to go. The places that they don't want us to know.
Stroll off into the sunset, get their peas off and go an island somewhere and rare. But
fantasy.
It's not that it's a fantasy. You can go and live that life, but then in your heart, I always wonder how you find peace in a world.
It's still happening.
Where you know what I mean? Cause you be good. You can go and be good, but then again, how are you ever against the system? You think the system needs you to engage like that? No, the system just needs you not to.
You're lying down.
Yeah, just disturb it.
Yeah? Don't disturb it. As long as you don't disturb it, as long as you don't rock the boat, you can go where you want. You think they really care about you going to an island?
Yeah.
But don't go to an island with 50 man and talk about creating a new rare and that idea catching up. No. You might have to tsunami your Clark or. They all killed themselves in a pact. They do mad things, you know. Have you noticed? It's like media don't ever want to encourage the idea of you going off and starting your own thing.
Never.
It always goes wrong.
Especially the right mans, because look at all the right mans that came together and tried to do that. Where are they? Dead.
It always goes wrong. Either a demon thing or they turn into some weirdos or hills of eyes or just don't.
Or one of their own killed them.
Yeah, some madness.
The favourite line.
They do the cult leader thing. Everyone do suicide at 12:59. I mean, we're all gonna drink this and go to a holy. They weird it out and that. They don't encourage that a lot.
I feel a bit disheartened from you.
No, you shouldn't do.
You shouldn't do. This should make you feel even more powerful.
Reality, man. I feel like reality. We seek too much comfort.
Place.
Yeah, it's a cold place. But
the system has built us to want to be in a comfortable place because when the mind is comfortable, the mind will never move. The mind will never elevate. A lot of the time, where do we find the most progress? When we're broke, when we're hungry, when we're heartbroken, when we're going through like some of the most lowest places in our life and mentally, we are able to make the most progress. So, for example, when we linked up at the protest, we were angry. A powerful emotion, but it's a negative frequency. But what was that able to do? It was able to bring progress. It was able to bring something powerful out of that situation. But what happened? Everybody went home. Not saying we weren't still pissed, we weren't still upset, but those frequencies start to move. That level of anger, that feeling. I'm a very spiritual woman. You see that energy that was there that day was scary.
Yeah,
scary.
Had things of.
Let me tell you why that energy is always there.
It was different.
It's never different. Let me tell you why. He's been to better than places. He knows. You know why that energy is always there? Because it's always in the same place. Always on the same grid lines. Always in the same ley lines. All the same spots. You lot doing the same ritual over and over again. Always the same. Parliament Square, Scotland Yard. It's always the same places. Hyde Park. These places have got catacombs and all sorts underneath. This is
very true.
And then guess what? You lot end up protesting on a day where another protest is going on. Another big protest is going on. What's the chances of that?
But they feed off of that energy.
Because it's protest day, huh?
Yeah, to get washed out. You don't get heard.
Bro, if it weren't Chris Carver, if it weren't this, if it weren't that, something else would be being protested in that day. It's almost like, you know when you're cooking and you just kind of let off the pot, just let a little bit of the steam out, turn it down a little bit, but let some of the steam out. Do you know what I mean? You don't want it building up, and that's what it is. They let the pressure out a little bit, give us a little release,
a little small,
a little anger for the day.
But that's the thing. These protests are like you said, the cooker analogy. It's like turning on the cooker, like you know when you got a gas cooker and you're turning it on. All it needed was a spark. The problem is there's never a spark. Obviously, I can't speak for I'm not going to say that I'm interested in every single protest that happens. Right. People go there for their different reasons and we're all going to believe in different things. But what we went to, obviously, is the topic that we're speaking to today. I believe in that. I have energy for that. I have fight for that. So if that spark happened that day, this I'm saying, like what you're saying.
So that would make you easily controlled, though. Should be wary of that. If people know that people have a spark for certain issues, right? They have not a spark, but you know, you got energy for certain issues. Then if I want to play chess with you,
Yeah.
Then I can say, okay, these are the things that make them come out. Say, for instance, for some strange reason, I wanted to start a mass riot.
Yeah.
They'll set man up.
You know who to call.
I know how to start a riot.
Yeah.
Right.
What triggers them.
I know how to get these man mad and I know. Get me? And they did this from time when they do things like take a black boy, they kill a white girl and then say the black boy done it. Yeah. And then now they're all up in arms and they do all these mad things. Like, the psychology is already there, right? But what I was going to ask you, like, as protesters, people that attended the protest and whatnot, obviously I covered it on True Illuminati Live and we spoke about it. I did use your footage, big up to you, and we even reviewed you talking, everything, right? So it's coincidental that we're here.
Nothing's coincidental.
Later on, I don't believe it's later on, it came out that the family now put out a statement saying, like, yeah, we're just trying to chill right now.
That was a couple weeks ago, though.
Right, it was a while ago now, 2 months, whatever.
What was the statement?
The family said
after they viewed
they went and viewed some footage with the
after
police.
the initial footage that was viewed, or just one?
No, I don't know. They went and go and see some. I don't know if it was added footage. I don't know.
I think it was the footage of what happened.
Yeah, they saw some footage and decided that they're just gonna chill for now, and the family just wanna. Peace family thing. So
I didn't see that.
I saw that. I
saw a lot of the posts that were posted after the footage was viewed, but I didn't see that.
Let's see if I can pull it up.
I did see it. It does come across my head. They said they want to be left alone, kind of. They just want to concentrate on the funeral and thing. Yeah, they did.
But maybe the trauma of the video is not allowing them to be in the mental space that they need to continue.
Do you think we should see the video? The public?
Yes.
Yeah, you think so?
So in the public interest, yes.
Yes, 100%.
Unfortunately, I know it's not to be cold-hearted to the family, because I don't want no issues with the family. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, whatever you lot are going through, and I know people connected, so I ain't even trying to step on no one's toes.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but I think for the public, it is important to see
Agreed.
and see what they did. And
because this is something we're all fighting for, something we're all defending. We need to understand, and this is happening in our community, a community we're paying for.
And we can get a better clarity of what's really going on instead of hearing hearsay all the time. You know what I mean?
We need to see.
We're making our own assumptions. Did you find the footage?
Sorry, give me a second.
Alright, you know, we spent on this topic for a minute. This topic's supposed to be a good 20 minutes. We're 40 minutes into it. But it's been juicy. I'm liking what you lot have been saying. You know what I'm saying? You're giving a different perspective.
Yeah, even the update with his case.
I'm hearing it. His wallet's got stolen.
Yeah. It's blow after blow.
I know. But the family should let everyone see the footage then, bruv.
But do the family have the footage, or were they shown the footage?
Okay,
that's the difference. And then there's a lot of legal procedures involved in terms of solicitors that are involved now that we will need to understand in terms of the community. The
Fed said no comment, innit? All the way.
When they showed the community what happened to George Floyd, that was a choice. That was something that the government wanted to do.
Go back to what
they do not want to show us the footage for what happened to Chris Carver, so we will never see it. George Floyd, that all happened in a certain way. We were supposed to see that.
You saying something about when you find out certain people about their past, they're involved in certain fraternities. That's the reason why George Floyd got shown to us to make us react in a certain way.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
So the question is, why ain't Chris Carver shown to us then? Because it's not. Is it not orchestrated? It's not orchestrated.
Yeah.
Damn.
And what happened?
I don't know, man.
Huh?
I don't know. I can't say that.
Oh, the free thinker.
So what's the outcome of it then? Because we know what the outcome of George Floyd was from the play.
There's no outcome. There's no outcome of George Floyd. There's no outcome. There's no outcome.
No, there was an outcome because they showed us the video. In that sense, we're talking about what they incited to do with that.
Yeah, but we didn't need to see the footage. They still got that reaction out of us. They still got us. They still got us feeding into the storyline. They still got us like, us here. Black people. The police hate us. Rare.
The energy and heightens from the images and the videos, though.
It does.
Psychologically,
but
it does.
If that's what they was trying to do, if they want to do that, then they will. But let's not assume that it's the same.
You got spot on. Because when that did happen, a lot of groups did a lot of people birthed from that movement,
and groups that all continued to be birthed, and I was involved in that myself. So I understand the reactionary stance. I understand that just because I'm reacting with a genuine, sincere concern and empathy for my fellow man, fellow brother, just because that's what's in my heart, doesn't mean that someone hasn't already suspected that that's how I will react, and then put things in place for me to react that way. It's the Hegelian dialectic. Like it's action, problem, solution, and again, you're always going to fall victim to that when you're always reacting to an action, because you don't know if your reaction is what they wanted in the first place. This is what they were hoping for, right? So
you've been on the run, you've experienced it, you're experienced in what you're saying.
I'm experienced. So I know, like, there's vampires that leech onto energy. So they see these things as opportunistic circumstances to gain power or to manipulate. Remember, social engineering goes on at all levels, right? Don't think that we're free from that. And I think black people are cursed with this thing of believing shit because it comes from another black person, or loving it because it comes from another black person, or needing it because they created an environment where they starved you of that love, that acceptance, that camaraderie in all different ways. So you crave it. That's why you're going to go crazy for the Black Panther film, because you need that. It means that to you. You're going to go crazier than a white man's going to go for Superman, because he's seen Superman, he's seen Batman, he's seen Spider-Man, he's seen every other man is white, innit? So it's cool, innit? So we get trinkets and we fall in love with them. We get things to be selectively outraged about, and we go all out for that. But when you step out of it, you realise, they still got you in your own little box. 100. Get mad, black youth gets killed. Get mad, rare. Gucci put a gollywog face on a.
It's education, though. It's the lack of education, because as an educated woman, like, I know I overstand things. So I feel like if our community had a certain level of education, they would overstand things as well.
Okay, cool. You said education. What education, though? Because education comes in different forms.
You can't know where you're going unless you know where you've come from. I think that's the biggest thing for people really know who we are, and that's because our history was taken from us. But if you look into the word history, it's his story. So you have to really understand these things. Whose story? Who made the word history? Who gave us this version of our history? We are lost. We don't know how to interpret things, like we were saying about the new Wakanda movie.
You're lost. We are lost. I always say we. Yeah. We are lost because we are told that we need to know about our history to know where we're going from. Like, I understand the principle of Sankofa, right?
You don't think we need to know?
Not necessarily. And here's why. Okay. Some people are adopted. Some people are fostered, and some people are enslaved and taken away from their captivity, from their place, and all knowledge of where they've come from is erased. And I want to encourage that individual to know that you are who you are, and everything you need to be is contained within yourself. And don't feel like you have to be linked back to a landmass or a culture or whatever for you to be the best kind of human that ever was. And I always speak to my American brothers and that. Yeah, but you Nigerian. What would you Igbo? So? Yeah, you Nigerian. So you know where you're coming from. Yeah, but that's why
I say talk about history and I talk about education, because like you just said, brothers are coming to you saying that you know that you're Nigerian, and most UK people know where they originate from. Yeah. But we are the native people of America. That is our land. A lot of people who are African American that are so confused and so lost and don't have that sense of home and knowing thyself. We were everywhere. We were not even the whole psychology of the transatlantic slave trade never even happened. We were there.
So this is the point that I'm making. So we've reached our point of agreement. Whereas he may have been there like, I don't know where in Africa I've come from. Yeah,
you might not even have come from Africa.
So it doesn't matter. It don't matter, my brother, because you're still the same person.
But could you imagine the amount of power that man would have if he knows the truth about that?
Would you imagine the amount of power that we would have if we just accept that we are all we need to be? We're in love with our land masses. We're in love. People love the map of Africa, the landmass, the ground, the names of the cities more than the people. People love the culture.
Yeah.
They love the religions.
Egypt.
They love
Right,
the food more than the people.
Yeah.
More than they love themselves. We gone wrong. Yeah. We need don't get me wrong. Individualism and your tribe and your ethnicity and knowing your history. If you got that connection, you got that. If you don't have that connection, please don't think that that's what makes a man.
Big up.
Because I think a lot of people hide behind that because they're lacking in something in themselves. So you see, they like I said, I think I was here last time. I don't need to wear a beret or a red, black, and green, or say or quote Marcus Garvey every 5 minutes and all that played out shit. I don't need to always be referencing Malcolm X or talking about this. I'm a representative of right now, in the moment, the instant. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And all that history stuff and that keeps us sat on our hunches, not moving. If you're going to utilise it to move forward, by all means do so. But please don't sit around waiting for your genealogy or finding out what culture your grandma's from or whatever before you have the strength to know that your voice and you're powerful and you're in this moment.
Agree, but we also have to think about the numbers of children all over who are black children in particular who are being raised where even in history in general, but in history classes, the only thing that we are learning about us is that we're slaves. Had it not been for the fact that I come from an educated family and my parents and my grandparents and my family taught me who I was as a black woman, taught me about my culture from the Caribbeans to the Americas to Haiti to Cuba to Africa. Had I not have been, my mum had been coming in doing black history lectures in my primary school, teaching had it not have been for that, I would be so lost as a black girl in this 20th century.
So, ain't that what we need then? Is the parents to be parents?
But a lot of our parents have been brainwashed, they're sheeps, they've been fed into the British American agenda.
That means what he's saying is right then, because him going back to where you think you come from, and you just said that. They're not where they come from then, because they're brainwashed.
Listen, when you see, the thing is, it's mad. When you go back to Africa and you try to chat to Africans, and I say Africans, and it sounds really broad.
I know what you're saying.
If you try to chat to the people in Africa,
Johnny just
about your great Western philosophies. Guard your heart, innit?
Stone.
Guard your heart, because you're gonna feel saddened by the level of disconnect from what you're saying. You're gonna ask 100 people, and 5 maybe will engage with you on that level that we're having these type of conversations, and that's because we're privileged to have all this technology and books and whatever access to stuff. So we now we're removed, and these men are like, yo.
There's that, and there's also the fact of we all know how powerful that continent is. And
from the outside, because we're getting taught it, are they aware of it?
But this is what I'm saying. Just because of how powerful it is on every level, down to the element of the nutrients, from every level of how powerful that continent is, those people had to be put in a sleeping mental and emotional slumber to where they are like that. British people, we have a certain level of conditioning and obviously mental and slavery that we're going through all over. But those people in particular have to be like that. What do people think about when they think about Jamaica? Chaos. Like, our countries that are powerful, that are feeding the world in every single level, they have to be like that. Exactly. Because could you imagine if at least half of that continent had the levels of powers and the levels of knowledge that a lot of us have because we have these resources, it'd be over. And that is the one place they cannot afford for people to wake up. Because
that's why,
not only do they take their stuff back, they start to give us resources, start to give us money and unite us. That is a huge issue.
But listen, hear what I'm saying though, yeah? Do you think that the British public are asleep?
The British public are asleep?
Yeah.
The masses?
Yeah, the masses.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, cool.
We just gave him the answer he wanted. He played us.
Do you want Africa to become like the UK?
No.
What's going to stop it?
What's going to stop it becoming
like the UK?
Us.
Africa.
Nothing is going to stop it.
Nothing.
Secretly, in our talks, in our plans, in our actions, we want Africa to become Europe, and we want to become Europeans. majority of us, yeah,
subconsciously,
that's all we want. We want everything that's in Europe to be over there.
Africa, yeah.
We clap when we get light, electric. We clap when we get, we're running a new under the ocean line that's going to go around the coast of Africa to supply internet. It's my pledge by 20-something that all Africans.
But why do we act like we never had this shit there before? We've had civilizations that are greater than any civilization that is in Europe or any other country to this day that they destroyed. That's underwater.
Comes to education, though. They don't know it.
We morphing, and like going back, going back to a point that we was making earlier.
African Europeans,
about, the white man doesn't want to see us, wants to keep us suppressed and rare. I laugh because guess what's going to happen? We're going to do our own suppressing as we did. History just keeps repeating itself. We will be prime minister, we will be president, we will be this and that. Black excellence will reign supreme. Africa will have skyscrapers, internet. Africa will be the new Europe. But you see what? You ain't going to find no Omani, you ain't going to find no Jedi there. You ain't going to find our mind. You're going to find a free man. You're going to find the system. You're going to find a replica of what we see everywhere else.
They don't need to do that.
Finally, everyone's going to be like, yeah,
because we're doing it for them. Like even the Ku Klux Klan, when they said we don't need to kill you lot anymore because you kill yourself.
Standard.
We have trained you lot to murder your own people.
Standard.
We do not need to murder you anymore.
Come on. Preach it.
And even though we do not need to murder ourselves anymore, we've infiltrated and put ourselves in your schooling systems, where your doctors, where your teachers, where your police officers, your housing officers, your
FBI, where your MI5,
CIA, all of it.
Where your princesses, where your queens. We're going to be all of that. Yeah? That day will come. That day is here. And I think this is the day that people think they want. Because you lot go extra ham when someone graduates. You lot go extra ham when someone becomes...
When they square your circle.
Yeah, you lot love all that. We love it. We love all of it. And we've loved it for a long time. Yeah? And that's all it is, man. We're building up the system and we're just going to, all kinds of parades going on in Africa. All sorts of things happening. All kinds of artists coming out of Jamaica. All kinds of lyrics being said. All our power, like you said, all our power bases and that. We them.
Music is powerful though, and they know that because that was something we've used from the beginning of time.
And they used it.
Hip hop. We love hip hop. Everyone loves hip hop. What if hip hop was just a weapon from the beginning?
It was.
But they take our own stuff and use it against us. Before hip hop was a power, what did we used to do in slavery?
What's not ours, I should say?
Nothing. If we're the creators, then how can anything not be ours?
Hip hop was a tool to
It's all a tool. Everything's a tool. All the demons we love.
But I think it got weaponized against us. I think obviously it started off with just, you get me, good intentions,
poetry,
man, speaking conscious stuff naturally. Then you get me.
All roads to hell are paved with good intention. Always starts with good intentions.
I think we're gonna leave it there, Jets.
Nah, you can't leave it there. You got to say something else. Say something nice.
We have to leave it there. We got over time. Bro, we're like an hour deep. And it's like we didn't even get onto the second topic.
Powers.
Mad. Yo, I might have to invite these two down to hit the second topic another day. But
let me pick out the second topic. Oh, you... Bro, this is a scam. You only got 2 topics in there.
What was that?
You only got 2 topics in there, man. It's a scam.
Where's the other one?
Entertainment. Next time, innit?
Oh, great.
That's a scam. You need to have 80 topics in there, man. I've exposed you, man.
Mad. Yo,
big up, though.
People, thank you for your time, man. It was very interesting. I think this the most powers to have kept quiet the most because you lot
sisters running bars.
I mean, so are you.
You lot mad. Powers to both of you, man. You man definitely need to link up and have this reasoning. It was definitely meant to be. But it's mad that you lot got both different ideologies. Like,
it's not that different, man. I understand where the sisters.
Do you know what? Even though we may have different ideologies and different ways of traveling, we're both going to the same place, and that is the most important thing. As long as you can have respect for anybody that you're dealing with, and you can have the maturity enough to be able to see someone's point of view and respect it. You might not have to agree, but I'm going to respect it. Moving forward, what else matters? We're going to the same place and there's respect. and loyalty as
I
people.
need to get sister on Illuminati Live.
I think so. Still, we're a bit of a madness still. What, Monday? Yeah, I'm looking in. Yeah.
Big up, powers. Come
Always. Thank you for having
Killing
me.
You're welcome. Thank you lot for coming down and doing your thing, man.
Of course.
You know the show, guys. If your mouth don't empower, keep it.
Powers.